In the fading light of a December evening in 1994, 19-year-old Melissa Witt pulled into the Bowling World parking lot in Fort Smith, Arkansas. She was a bright honors student, a dedicated dental assistant chasing her dream of becoming a hygienist, and a kind-hearted daughter hoping to make peace with her mom after a small argument that morning. But Missy never made it inside. Before she could even step fully out of her car, a brutal abduction exploded in that ordinary lot. Evidence of a violent struggle was everywhere. Blood splattered near her vehicle, her keys tossed aside, and one earring glinting on the pavement. Someone had grabbed her in plain sight, in a busy place where families bowled and laughter echoed. But what they didn't know was that this moment would launch one of Arkansas's most haunting unsolved murders. Her mother Mary and waited anxiously at the alley, the note she'd left earlier now a cruel reminder of love cut short. Missy's car sat abandoned, dome light still on from earlier, engine refusing to turn over later when searched. Investigators quickly realized this wasn't a runaway or random vanishing. This was a kidnapping marked by raw force. The community mobilized fast, but the clock was ticking. Missy's innocent life, full of promise and hard work, had been ripped away in seconds. Families across Fort Smith felt the terror. If it could happen here to her, it could happen to anyone. Yet the true horror was only beginning. As night fell, the search intensified, but Missy was already gone, taken into the shadows by a predator who struck without mercy. That parking lot, once filled with normal Friday night energy, became ground zero for a nightmare that still grips her loved ones nearly 30 years later. The blood told a story of resistance, of a young woman fighting for her future. But her killer had other plans, and the darkness that swallowed Missy Witt was far more disturbing than anyone imagined at first. What happened in those critical minutes would haunt investigators forever. 6 agonizing weeks dragged by with no sign of Missy. Then, on January 13th, 1995, 2 hunters deep in the Ozark National Forest made a discovery that shattered hearts across Arkansas. There, near a headstone-shaped rock, lay Melissa Witt's nude body. She had been brutally murdered and left in a remote logging area 45 miles from home. Leaves partially covered her, as if the killer wanted to hide his work or revisit the scene later. Her clothes, shoes, and jewelry were completely gone, taken as trophies or to destroy evidence. The positioning suggested deliberate staging, a final insult to her dignity. But what happened next changed everything for the investigation. Autopsy findings revealed she had fought hard before being killed, her young body bearing the marks of a savage attack. The innocence of this 19-year-old honors student, who had spent her last day juggling classes and work, made the brutality sting even deeper. Her mother Mary Ann's world collapsed upon hearing the news. The small disagreement that morning now felt like an unbearable last memory. Friends remembered Missy's warm smile and tireless ambition, dreams of a stable career now stolen forever. The discovery escalated the case from missing person to horrific homicide. Blood in the parking lot matched the timeline of her abduction around 6:30 to 7 p.m. Keys and that single earring painted a picture of sudden violence. Yet the killer had left almost no trail, taking everything with him into the forest. This was no impulsive act. It felt calculated, personal. Investigators faced their first major escalation. A monster who could snatch a woman from a public lot and dump her body so far away. The psychological weight crushed the community. How many others had this predator hurt? As searches widened and tips flooded in, one thing became clear. The truth behind Missy's murder was darker than the cold woods where she was found. The hunt for her killer had only just begun. With Missy's body recovered, police zeroed in on initial suspects fast. The parking lot struggle pointed to someone familiar with the area or bold enough to attack in public. Early tips describe a short man with a mustache, glasses, blue shirt, jeans, brown boots, and light baseball cap seen smoking outside Bowling World that evening. He allegedly heard or witnessed the loud altercation. Another potential lead, a couple with a young child, the woman short, blonde with fluffy hair and a striped sweater, the man taller, walking into the alley. Could they hold key details? But what they didn't know was that deeper shadows lurked. Larry Swearingen emerged as a chilling person of interest. This convicted killer had murdered another 19-year-old college student, Melissa Trotter, in a strikingly similar way. Abducted, taken to a forest, killed. He was in the region around Missy's disappearance and denied involvement until his execution in 2009. The parallels, age, method, wooded dump site, sent investigators racing. Yet evidence didn't fully link him. Meanwhile, the emotional toll mounted. Mary and Witt poured her grief into the search, clinging to hope even after the body was found. Missy's friends shared stories of her kindness, her future plans crushed in one evil moment. The case pushed forward with forensic collection, but early leads fizzled under scrutiny. The killer had been careful, perhaps too careful. No immediate DNA hits in 1994 technology. This escalation revealed a predator who planned his escape. The community's pain deepened with every dead end, years of waiting stretching ahead with no answers. Missy's ambitious life, her hard work at the dental clinic, contrasted brutally with the violence inflicted on her. Investigators sensed this wasn't random. Someone targeted her or seized a perfect opportunity. And as more witnesses surfaced, the mystery twisted further. The man in the cap, the couple in the lot. Could one of them break the case? The investigation was heating up, but the truth remained buried in silence. Dead ends piled up as the investigation dragged into months and years. Despite massive searches and community rewards topping $30,000 at the time, no arrest came. Tips about the mustached man and the family with the child led nowhere concrete. Forensic limitations in the mid-90s meant no quick DNA breakthroughs. The killer had taken Missy's belongings, leaving investigators with frustratingly little. But the truth was far more disturbing. Multiple violent predators operated in the River Valley area, complicating the hunt. Larry Swearingen's execution closed one door, but opened questions about others. The psychological weight crushed Mary and the family. Holidays passed without Missy. Her empty chair at gatherings, the unfinished dreams of dental hygiene school, haunted everyone. Time passage pain grew heavier with each anniversary. Investigators chased patterns of similar crimes, but links stayed elusive. Witnesses faded, memories blurred. The bowling alley lot, once bustling, became a memorial of loss. This stagnation tested even seasoned detectives. How does a young woman get abducted in public, yet her killer vanishes? The escalation showed a sophisticated offender, possibly local, who knew the forest well. Community advocates refused to let the case die. Yet leads dried up, turning it cold. Missy's innocence, her friendly nature and work ethic made the unsolved status unbearable. Families across Arkansas shared the fear. Justice delayed meant more potential victims. Every new tip reignited hope only to dash it again. The case took a turn when other suspects surfaced, but verification proved difficult. The killer's ability to evade capture for years pointed to cunning or luck. And as the 90s ended without resolution, the emotional scars deepened for all who loved Missy. Her mother's quiet strength became legendary, but the void remained. This dead-end phase forced investigators to rethink everything. What crucial detail had they missed in those first chaotic weeks? The forest and the parking lot still held secrets, waiting for the right break. As technology advanced, hope flickered with potential DNA and forensic breakthroughs. Modern testing re-examined evidence from the parking lot blood and Missy's body. Partial profiles emerged, but full matches remained elusive in early retests. Yet this escalation breathed new life into the probe. Dedicated investigators like those from Fort Smith PD collaborated with the FBI and other agencies. The case file, thick with interviews, revealed patterns pointing to a local predator. But what happened next changed everything for some leads. Charles Ray Vines, known as the River Valley Killer, came under intense scrutiny. His history of attacking women in the area, including attempts near the time of Missy's murder, made him a prime focus. ties to the region where her body was found added weight. Detectives dug deep, awaiting lab results that could finally link him. Meanwhile, the emotional angle sharpened. Mary Ann's unwavering fight for justice highlighted a mother's unbreakable love. Missy's friends spoke of her bright smile and big goals, stolen too soon. The time passage pain, decades of unanswered questions, fueled public campaigns. Billboards went up, keeping Missy's face visible. But the killer's identity stayed hidden. Forensic advancements exposed more about the crime: strangulation, deliberate body placement. This wasn't opportunistic only. It had hallmarks of experience. The investigation pushed forward with renewed vigor, re-interviewing witnesses about the man in the cap and the couple. Every detail mattered. Missy's hard-working spirit inspired those still searching. Yet stagnation loomed again as some leads on Vines didn't fully close. The psychological burden of an unsolved murder weighed on the entire community. Who could live among them capable of such evil? New technology promised breakthroughs, but answers demanded more. This phase marked a critical turn: science versus silence. The truth about Missy Witt's final moments grew closer, yet still out of reach. The hunt continued with fierce determination. Cold case stagnation hit hard as years turned into decades. Despite billboards, rewards, and documentaries in development, no arrest. The $29,000 reward offered on the 29th anniversary underscored the desperation for leads on Missy's Mickey Mouse watch or the witnesses. But the truth was far more disturbing. Multiple persons of interest, including violent offenders like Travis Crouch, were examined and not conclusively tied. The case bounced between agencies, tips coming and going. Missy's mother Mary and passed without seeing justice, her pain a lasting symbol of loss. The emotional weight crushed those left behind, friends who aged while Missy stayed forever 19, her dreams frozen. Time passage agony manifested in quiet anniversaries and community vigils. Investigators faced frustration with incomplete forensics and faded memories. The abduction's boldness suggested someone comfortable in the area, possibly known to locals. Yet dead ends persisted. This stagnation tested everyone's resolve. New advocates like LaDonna Humphrey launched relentless campaigns, writing books and pushing for attention. A Hulu documentary brought fresh eyes. Still, the killer walked free. Missy's kind-hearted nature, her ambition at the dental clinic, contrasted the brutality. The forest dump site, near Turner Bend, hinted at killer familiarity with the Ozarks. Every escalation revealed how close, yet far justice remained. Witnesses from that night at Bowling World held potential keys: the short man smoking, the family crossing the lot. Their silence or forgetfulness prolonged the nightmare. The psychological toll of not knowing fueled calls for digital billboards and renewed tips. This cold phase wasn't defeat. It built pressure for the next breakthrough. Missy deserved better than obscurity. Her story, one of innocence violently ended, demanded resolution. As stagnation dragged, the community's love for Missy only grew stronger, refusing to let her murder fade. The case waited for technology or a conscience to finally crack it open. New technology breakthroughs reignited the Melissa Witt investigation. Advanced DNA genealogy and retesting of old evidence opened fresh avenues. Collaborative efforts between local police, state agencies, and the FBI analyzed every trace. Billboards and social media campaigns amplified the call for information on the witnesses or the Mickey Mouse watch. But what they didn't know was how close a resolution might be. Charles Ray Vines remained a focal point, his violent history aligning eerily with the crime. Other names surfaced under modern scrutiny. The escalation brought hope mixed with heartbreak. Missy's story reached wider audiences through podcasts and planned documentaries, keeping pressure on. Her mother's note of love that fateful day symbolized everything lost. The 19-year-old's hard-working path to a bright future made the unsolved status infuriating. Emotional engagement peaked as anniversaries highlighted the enduring pain. Families still waited for answers after 30 years. Forensic tools that didn't exist in 1994 now dissected the parking lot struggle and forest scene. The headstone rock, the nude body, the missing clothes, all re-examined for new clues. This phase pushed the story forward dramatically. Investigators believe someone out there held the final piece. The couple with the child or the mustache man might remember more now. Micro hooks of potential identification kept momentum. Missy's innocence and the community's shared grief drove volunteers. The psychological weight of decades without closure fueled determination. Technology offered the light at the end of a long tunnel. Yet the killer's identity lingered just beyond reach. This breakthrough era marked renewed escalation, turning cold leads hot again. The truth behind who brutally murdered Missy Witt in that parking lot and dumped her in the woods felt nearer. Advocates refused to quit. Her legacy as a kind, ambitious young woman inspired the fight. The case was evolving fast, demanding justice at last. Identification efforts intensified on key suspects as new tips and forensics converged. Charles Ray Vines and others faced deeper dives, with authorities pursuing every connection to the River Valley area. The man outside Bowling World that night, possibly witnessing the altercation, gained renewed focus. But the truth was far more disturbing if the killer still lived among them undetected. The investigation escalated toward potential naming. Missy's case, now nearly 30 years old, saw coordinated pushes with billboards and rewards. Her earring and keys, silent witnesses to violence, symbolized the fight. Marianne's grief echoed in every appeal. The emotional angle hit hard. A daughter taken during a simple evening plan, her future erased. Friends recalled her warmth and drive. This identification phase built unbearable suspense. Who had the audacity to abduct her publicly? Time passage pain turned into collective anger and resolve. LaDonna Humphrey's team and others poured resources into uncovering the monster. Forensic matches, if found, could shatter the stalemate. The forest location, chosen deliberately, pointed to local knowledge. Every reveal pushed viewers deeper into the mystery. The young child from the couple witness might now be an adult with clearer memories. Micro cliffhangers surrounded potential DNA hits. Missy's story, one of brutal murder in a seemingly safe place, demanded an end. Psychological weight pressed on investigators and the public alike. The case took another sharp turn with fresh witness appeals. Identification wasn't just names. It was closure for a community scarred by loss. Her ambitious life cut short fueled the urgency. As leads tightened, the killer's days of freedom seemed numbered. This chapter represented hope amid darkness. The nonstop hunt for the person responsible for Melissa Witt's death. The escalation promised answers, but only if the right person spoke up now. The long hunt appeared poised for an arrest as pressure mounted from all sides. Rewards, documentaries, and technology converged on remaining suspects. Potential links to Vines or overlooked locals were scrutinized relentlessly. Evidence from the bloody parking lot and remote dump site refused to stay silent. But what happened next could finally deliver justice. Investigators collaborated across jurisdictions, re-energized by public interest. Missy's Mickey Mouse watch, if recovered, might unlock everything. The emotional breakdown for her family and friends lingered, a mother's note forever unread in full. Her kind-hearted, hard-working spirit at 19 contrasted the savage killing. This phase escalated toward confrontation. Witnesses from 1994, now older, held possible final keys. The short man with the mustache, the couple with the child, their information could name the killer. The case's viral storytelling spread Missy's photo widely. Time passage pain transformed into action. Nearly 30 years of stagnation gave way to breakthroughs. The psychological toll of unsolved murder drove calls for tips. Missy deserved an arrest, a conviction that honored her dreams. The investigation's fast pace in this modern era built to a crescendo. Her body's discovery near the headstone rock symbolized a grave that cried for justice. Every detail, the struggle, the missing clothes, the forest trek pointed to one perpetrator. Identification efforts zeroed in, raising hopes for handcuffs soon. The community's love for Missy fueled the final push. This wasn't just a cold case. It was a living wound demanding closure. As authorities closed in on leads, the killer's anonymity cracked. The escalation felt electric. Missy's innocent life, stolen in a parking lot ambush, would not remain unavenged. The story raced toward resolution, with every tip potentially ending the nightmare. Arrest seemed imminent if the right person broke their silence. 30 years later, Melissa Witt's murder still awaits full closure, but the fight rages stronger than ever. No trial or verdict has delivered the ending her family and community crave, yet new efforts signal a twist. Relentless advocacy may finally triumph. Billboards, the $29,000 reward, and a developing documentary keep Missy's face and story alive, pressuring anyone with knowledge to come forward. The witnesses, the mustache man who may have seen the struggle, the couple with the child, hold power to end this. But the truth remains disturbing. Her killer walks free, unpunished for brutally murdering a 19-year-old with everything ahead. Missy's ambition, her kindness at the dental clinic, her dreams of hygienist work, were destroyed that December night. Marian's love note became a tragic symbol. The parking lot blood, the forest body near the rock, the missing watch and clothes, all demand justice. Emotional engagement peaks, knowing the pain of decades without answers. Yet this ongoing escalation inspires hope. Technology and public awareness have transformed the case. Investigators won't quit. The psychological weight of loss has forged unbreakable determination. Missy's story forces viewers to confront evil in everyday places. What happened in that lot changed lives forever. Her innocence versus the killer's darkness creates a curiosity loop that endures. As campaigns push for tips leading to arrest and conviction, the final chapter builds. Perhaps soon, handcuffs snap, a trial unfolds, and closure arrives. Or a shocking new twist reveals the monster. The nonstop investigation honors Missy's memory, pushing her legacy forward. Families still ache, but they refuse silence. This unsolved murder, marked by struggle and loss, ends not in defeat, but in a call to action. Someone knows. The viewer, gripped until the last second, becomes part of the hunt. Melissa Witt's light will not fade. Justice is coming. Her story demands it,